G'day mate. Hi, so I was just going to do this video to explain what study abroad is, what I'm doing, where I'm going, how long for, where to, just said that, where I'm going, what university I'm currently at, how it changes my degree and things like that. So basically, I am currently halfway through my second year at university. I currently study television production down at Falmouth University, down in Cornwall, and I'm looking to go to Griffith University out in Brisbane, Australia. I'm basically going out for there for 6 months. 5 months of that I'll be taking part in study abroad. My official start date is the 25th of Feb and it's currently the 6th of Feb. I do fly out on Sunday the 10th, so that's only about 4 days away. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. So basically what study abroad is, it varies to different universities. At my university they only offer a semester abroad, so it's only a 6-month period, or less or more depending how long the university is you're going to, how long their term is. But my university don't offer a whole year abroad. I know other universities offer an entire year or 6 months. So at mine it's 6 months. I knew when first applying to university that I definitely wanted somewhere where it would offer me the opportunity, no matter how long for, to go and study abroad for a short amount or long amount of time. Some of the universities that I looked at did not offer that, so that for me put them out of the question for when applying. You start basically at the beginning of second year to apply. We start researching it, you start getting in contact with the people who are around at your university, try and find out some more information about it. I actually had quite an extensive application. Each university you're able to apply to has different hardness levels. So you've got it's basically low, medium and high, and so low is like they're taking quite a lot of people and it's fairly easy to get into. You've got medium where they maybe take less people in, but it's slightly harder with the educational system that they use. And you have high, which is they only select less than 5 people. So I was lucky enough to get accepted. I was originally looking at Melbourne, a bit further down south from Brisbane, but when it came around to application time, the actual course for the semester that I'm going for changed, and it was not the stuff that I wanted to do, so that changed my aspects. Melbourne was actually a medium level, so it was a better chance of me getting in. And last minute I decided you can select up to 3, but there was only 2 in Australia, so I was only going to apply to Melbourne because originally Brisbane, I didn't like the course and I liked the Melbourne one. But coming around to application time, Brisbane and Melbourne both changed their courses, and the Brisbane one looked so much better than the Melbourne one. And I no longer like the Melbourne one. So that kind of worked out for me. We've got family, friends, relatives sort of things who live in Brisbane, who I'm actually saving a lot of money and going to stay with them whilst I'm out there. I'm outside the EU when going for these 6 months. I get no student funding. If I was going to somewhere within Europe, then I would get a grant. But unfortunately, because I'm going outside the EU, I have to fund it all myself. In regards to tuition fees, your tuition always gets paid still to your home university. So I don't have to worry about extra tuition fees. If someone from Australia came over to my university and I went over to Australia, Australia's still getting their tuition funds from this Australian who's come over to England, and my university is still getting them funds for the tuition whilst I'm out in Australia. My application was actually really extensive. It was basically applying for UCAS. So if you're from the UK, you'll know that you have to apply through UCAS to study at university. So you normally start that between year 12 and year 13. So I basically had to do a new UCAS application for the whole of my study abroad time. I had to write a whole new personal statement. I had to do a show reel of work that I've done within university already, and work if I have done so outside of work. I had to do a portfolio, such as I've written scripts, I've done photography, I've done other like small bits and pieces like artwork and things like that. I can add that in to show my creativity and my art. I also had to write a short paragraph on something that I'd like to create whilst I'm out there and why I'd want to create it. And I also had to write an essay based on something else, but I can't quite remember what it was, but I had to do another essay. So it was quite an extensive application. Grades are very important when you're applying to study abroad. You have to have decent, like a good level of grades when, like, all the way through to what you've been learning now. Attendance is also very high. If you have low attendance, you will not be considered. The get-go on applying for study abroad, you have to get permission from your home university. And that means your course leader has to look through your attendance and through your grades and actually look through your work to see what you've produced to decide if it's actually worth me going. Because for me, my 6 months counts towards my university degree. Whereas I know other people who've gone for a year or gone for 6 months, it doesn't actually count. But for me, it does count. If I fail at while I'm out there, I have to come back and restart my second year. So fingers crossed, I'm okay and I don't have to restart and I can carry on. But yeah, it's very important that I pass when I get out there. So yeah, they've got to basically, it's in the course leader's hands if they believe that you're able to carry your grades on throughout the time that you're there and you're turning up on time, you're not like phoning in sick all the time, things like that, because it looks bad on that university, and the universities might lose connection if they keep on sending people over who are not pulling their weight basically or earning their place to be at the university when someone else could have gone. In regards to choosing the university that you want to go to, my university has connections with other universities, but so it's basically all around the world, but my specific course only is linked to 4 other universities. So I've actually found my Erasmus scheme study abroad thing, because Erasmus is what it's called when it's within Europe, and then study abroad is when it's outside. The 4 places that my course was connected to was Norway, New Zealand, Australia and Slovakia. Earlier I said that you can apply to 3 universities. Say I wanted to apply to one in New Zealand, Australia and Slovakia, that is absolutely fine. It doesn't have to be all in the same country, it just depends where you get accepted and where you decide you want to go. Say there was three universities in Australia that you wanted to go to, you can apply to all 3 in Australia. Of course you do need a visa when you go out to a country outside of Europe for a long period of time. You need to apply for a student visa. The student visas can be quite expensive. I think mine came to between £300 and £400. It depends where you get it from, what it includes. With a student visa it does I can't remember exactly what it includes, but it does include some health insurance, like the basics, so you are generally covered when you go out there. I am buying extra insurance because it doesn't cover everything. After my 5-month period of studying at the university, I'm doing an extra month around the East Coast and I'm backpacking. I've covered my visa basically over then, but I've also added in extra travel insurance for that extra month. And whatever the end date of your visa is, you have to be out of the country. So if your visa ends on the 31st, you can't leave on the 1st. You have to leave on the 31st or the 30th because you can get fined and you will not be able to leave without having the correct dates on your visa. I would definitely recommend doing extensive research into each university that you could possibly go to, only because each of the courses may change over time, and it will just make your life so much easier and getting to understand the course a lot better, understand where it is, financially how much it's going to cost, whereabouts you're able to stay for accommodation wise, and if it's going to be accessible to the university, and just things like that. You've got to really think about it, even though you don't think you've got to think about a lot of it in detail until you apply and things. It definitely works out a lot better if you do it at the beginning. So after you get accepted by your university, you will basically get added to either Twitter or Facebook, or probably not Instagram or Twitter actually, probably like a Facebook page where all of the people who are going to the same university doing the same thing as you will be doing the study abroad. It may not necessarily be on the same course as you, but you'll be able to meet other people before you go. So you can maybe have like a few more familiar faces. You can meet up with them before you start the course, because there is like different events for international students before generally the course starts. So it'd be a good way to like meet new people that are basically in the same position as you. Some people could be very quiet and nervous, and sometimes they just need like an extra face that kind of knows how they're feeling because they're so far away from home. Another factor that you've really got to consider is the weather when you're out there. So obviously I'm going to Australia and our seasons are switched. So we're currently at the sort of middle of winter, whereas they're in the middle of their summer, so it's currently 29-30 degrees, whilst here it's like 3 and 4. So I've definitely got to pack completely different to what I'd be packing here. I'll leave all my winter coats and jumpers here because I would not be needing them. I'll be packing shorts and t-shirts and swimwear. So you've really got to consider where you're going and clothing appropriate for the area that you're going to. For money out in Australia, I've basically gone through a company called Travelex. They basically have like a station in Heathrow Airport if you live nearby. And they go to a station and you basically can order a money card, like a money cash card. It's basically like a debit card. It's got a pin. You can use it at an ATM. You can use it to buy food. You can use it to buy coffee, like coffee shops and shopping. You can put money in it from any account, and then it changes it automatically into the currency that you'll be living in. You won't get any added charges for the change in currency. So sometimes if you take your English card over, you will get charged the exchange rate and things like that. So it can be a lot more expensive if you just use your English card. So I think it's definitely worth getting this cash card, and it's definitely worth researching to see which company is doing the best deal at the time. At the minute, I'm currently putting English money in because the exchange rate is really good. It's working out better if the exchange rate is really good. Put a large chunk of money on. That way you don't have to keep like topping up every week. You just got to learn how to budget yourself, as it's not so easy when you're in a different country using a different currency. Definitely get used to the exchange rate and think about roughly how much it is in home money, in pounds, whether it's pounds, dollars. For me personally, I am looking to get a part-time job whilst I'm out in Australia. You don't have to. It's literally just personal preference. I've decided to do it just so I can fund myself a bit more whilst I'm out there independently. I can then give myself an extra bit of money, like per week or per month, if I want to go on a trip for a weekend with some friends, or if I want to go buy some new clothes and things like that, just to keep me more financially stable. You don't necessarily have to. Sometimes you have to get a separate visa to be able to work in the country that you're staying in. Luckily, with my student visa, it actually covers a working visa as well. It just states that I'm unable to work over, I believe it's 40 hours over a fortnight. So I can easily just work a 1 8-hour shift a week, and I would not be breaking any of the visa rules. So just look through your visa, just double check what it all includes to see if it will need to be added as extra, but just double check anyway, but I'm sure you'll be fine. In regards to what's happening to your room back at your home university, again, you'll get added to a Facebook page where you can advertise your room. It will mostly be, most of the people that will be on the page will either be other students that are from your local area that are looking to change houses for one reason or another, or it'll be someone coming in from a different country who's doing the same thing exactly as you and just needing for a room to stay for the time that they're there. I've actually left my room to an Italian girl who's over from January to June or July. So she's taking over my rent and my bills, so I don't have the excess of like the amount of money paying rent back home. Otherwise I'd be paying 2 rents, and that's just too expensive for pretty much the majority of people who do it. So that's a really handy thing to get onto. If you're unsure where that Facebook page would be, just contact someone at your university and I'm sure they'll be able to point you in the right direction. There's so many different exciting opportunities for myself in Australia. It's always been like the #1 top of my list of where I've wanted to go, when I wanted to live. I never thought I'd be at the age of 19. It's such an exciting place. Considering it's only 4 days away, I've not packed at all. I'm literally just taking clothes, shoes, and then some other necessities. I'm buying all toiletries whilst I'm out there. Towels are basically being provided by my family. But just things like that. I'm buying more. I don't have many summer clothes because English summer isn't really a summer. I mean, last year was really good, but generally most people that live here know that we don't get a great summer. Considering I'm going to 30-degree heat, it's slightly different out there, so I'm going to buy a bit more clothing when I'm out there. But I'm literally just taking the basics. You don't want to overpack because you've got to consider where you're staying, how much, if you can even get the luggage there in the first place, how much it will cost to transfer. If you're only there for 6 months, it's probably really not worth it. Just take the bare minimum, and if you definitely need anything, buy it whilst you're out there. But definitely don't weigh yourself down with loads of unnecessary items. Unless you definitely know that they don't sell it, then maybe take it. But also bear in mind the airline rules about what you can and can't put in your suitcase, because some people say you can't take food, some people have certain rules about what toiletries and what liquids you can take. Just double check before you go, and do not weigh yourself down, because that's just going to be more of a worry when you get there, when you find out you don't actually have enough space to store everything that you've taken, and just seems like a waste, especially if you have to pay extra for the extra luggage. So I hope that this video has kind of helped if anyone's thinking about study abroad or going to the same place as me, or were a bit unsure about some of the information that you needed. So yeah, I will see you in Australia next. Bye.